Long ago, the Endless represented an unforeseen reality, something that stood poised to change the future in ways the Forerunners could not abide. Now, once more, after long ages hidden within the shadows of Zeta Halo, the Endless stand ready to alter the course of the galaxy. Hey everyone, welcome back to Installation 00, and it's Monday, so we are entering the Bestiarum, a deep dive into the respective species of the Halo universe. And with the exception of the wildlife that we have on various installations and planets across the galaxy, we conclude the biological Bestiarum with the most recent species added to the Bestiarum's list, the Endless, otherwise known as the Zalanin. But before we go much further, I just want to remind you guys we have an upcoming Discord Halo tournament, and we're going old school with Delta Arena. It's a 4v4 with winnings up to $500. There is a $5 entry fee per head, but that all goes into the prize pool, which needs to be paid to the coffee link in the description below. It will be streamed across Twitch and YouTube for people to watch, and in order to sign up you need to be a member of my Discord, a member of Spartan John's Discord, and have the PvP role in both Discords, with the event itself being hosted between May 31st and June 1st. Now, back to the video. The Zalanin are an enigmatic civilization of alien creatures who mysteriously survived the firing of the Halo array 100 millennia ago. Incredibly little is known about their nature, though careful observation indicates that they somehow have the ability to manipulate various forces and energy types in unique ways, including, perhaps most troublingly, a peculiar attunement to the elements of living time itself, though to what extent is unknown. They are clearly a highly intelligent, sapient species who, following imprisonment at the hands of the Forerunners at Zeta Halo, were suddenly set free from their captivity by the alien alliance known as the Banished. Only one known Xalanin has ever been observed, the Harbinger, and while we cannot confirm that she represents their entire species, as she may be a high caste or unique individual, we can derive tentative traits. The Harbinger's form is sleek and somewhat luminous, slightly taller than an average human, lithe with long limbs. Her body appears either semi-organic or possibly post-organic, with energy filaments coursing through her body. This suggests an integrated bioenergetic or photonic nervous system, implying either synthetic biological hybridization or a quantum biological substrate. Particularly during combat, her body emits a purplish energy, suggesting a reactive energy-based metabolism, perhaps even a non-chemical one, such as zero-point energy or photonic synthesis. She speaks cryptically but fluently, demonstrating advanced linguistic capability, high intellect, and potentially a shared or collective memory system with other members of her species. She's extremely fast and agile, with the ability to teleport via advanced short-range phase transitions. These transitions resemble slip-space flickers, implying high cognitive processing and a form of extra-dimensional sensory perception. The Harbinger's statements and actions indicate that the Xalanin possess a unique resistance to the Halo array's firing effect, which could mean they are not strictly biological or have found a way to preserve consciousness outside of typical neural structures, or are living partially outside of normal space-time, akin to the domain or precursor quantum fields. This means they may not be bound by linear time or experience time differently. They were feared by the Forerunners not because of aggression, but because they threatened the Forerunners' order of inheritance of the mantle. Their resilience made them an unpredictable ideological threat. Prominent theories surrounding their nature include a quantum or dimensional species, meaning they may exist partially outside of linear time or within some quantum substrate akin to precursor neural physics. They may be synthetic organic hybrids, possibly engineered by themselves or another entity. The The glowing elements suggest advanced bioenergetics. Another popular theory is that they may be precursors in disguise. As we covered in our last Bestiarum video, the precursors could occupy almost countless forms, and had gone through numerous cycles of evolution, birth, death, and rebirth, leading some to theorize that the Endless are an offshoot of the precursors surviving the genocide. This would explain their immunity to the Halo effect, and the Forerunner's dread of their species. Beyond this, and assuming that other members of her species are similar in physiology, we can extrapolate some biological field notes of sorts from her physiological and morphological traits. The Zalanin are slender humanoid entities exhibiting strong molluscoid anatomical influences. Average adult specimens stand upright via 2 hyperextended limbs, though these legs do not facilitate traditional terrestrial ambulation. Their feet point vertically downward, suggesting a phylogenetic detachment from load-bearing function. Terrestrial mobility is fully supplanted by integrated or affixed mechanical thrusters, allowing for limited flight or sustained hovering. Epidermal tissue presents a smooth, glabrous surface with a distinct bluish hue, lacking any visual dermal patternings, pores, or pilosity. The overall body plan is gaunt and elongated, with musculature appearing diminished or internally distributed, likely due to reduced gravitational adaptation or bioengineered stasis resilience. Each upper limb terminates in a tetradactyl or 4-fingered hand. Fingers are elongated, lacking at least immediately visible nails or claws, and appear capable of both precise manipulation and adaptive grip, though tactile range and strength metrics remain undetermined. The cranium is bulbous yet smooth, entirely devoid of hair or external nasal structures. Visual organs consist of 2 large, wide-set eyes lacking pupils, sclera, or irises, possibly adapted for low-light environments or non-visual sensory processing. No external ears are present. Facial features are dominated by a narrow, expressionless mouth bordered on either side by 2 short, flipper-like oral appendages presumed to serve a sensory or communicative function. Closer examination of the oral cavity reveals a cephalopod-like chitinous beak used for feeding or defensive engagement. Notably, a hinged blade-like dentition emerges centrally from the lower jaw, permanently exposed even when the mouth is closed. The lips are anatomically clefted to accommodate this structure. Due to their seeming inability to walk unaided and reliance on technological propulsion, Xalanin individuals appear to maintain strict verticality in posture, and may have developed their culture or social norms around this aerial orientation. When the remaining Forerunners ventured out to reseed life in the galaxy following the array's activation, they found what should not exist. Something had, in fact, survived Halo. With the Forerunners' time in the galaxy of Path Tulgrath rapidly coming to an end, they realized that their plan to pass on the mantle of responsibility to humanity was suddenly in great peril. The Zalanin represented an unforeseen factor, an acute imbalance that could not be allowed to be left unchecked while the rest of the galaxy's species began to recover and evolve. With this reality in mind, a great judgment was rendered. The Forerunners took Zeta Halo to the Zalanin homeworld and brought aboard a host of individuals, including their ruling class, under the guise of a parley. Within the auditorium, the Zalanin were sentenced to exile. In time, the installation's monitor and other Forerunner constructs ran tests on their species in hopes to unlock the secrets of their survival. There were questions that needed answers, and using Zeta Halo's unique capabilities, many a vestige of its older design, the Forerunners prepared to conceal this final, terrible sin. Over time, a scant few Zalanin who survived their kind's imprisonment roamed the galaxy in secret, visiting scattered outposts and installations in hope they would find a solution in order to free their people. Many millennia later, and far removed from the galaxy, it seemed that a potential solution had indeed been found, but by Atriox, leader of the Banished. Learning of this dark Forerunner secret while on the Ark, the Jiralhane Warmaster realized that he might have an unexpected and potentially powerful ally at his disposal, beings that the modern galaxy had not yet encountered. This drove him to set off for Zeta Halo to free them himself. The Banished arrived at Zeta Halo and immediately began to scout locations where they might find what the Forerunners had buried long ago. Within a matter of months, their efforts were met with success as the Banished located a cache of silexes within the ring's substructure. Upon being freed, the Harbinger immediately began the task of conducting a search for the rest of her kind. However, freedom was not the only task at hand. Order had to be restored and restitution made. Working with the Banished war chief Bestiarum, the Harbinger located the conservatory and descended upon Despondent Pyre, dismantling the installation's monitor and extracting its encephalon core. Interfacing with the core, the Harbinger attempted to access key systems within the ring, the first of which was the activation of a local nexus and its networked spires. The spires began to restore landmasses and repair the damage done to the auditorium during Cortana's self-destruction and subsequent translocation of the ring. But the Harbinger's Reformation plan held a far greater purpose: remake the ring as it had been made before, but this time to purposes and specifications not prescribed by the Forerunners, for an end which only the Harbinger knew. The Reformation was ultimately cut short by the efforts of the human Spartan, the Master Chief, and his companions who, after eliminating the Banished war chief, stormed the auditorium and defeated the Harbinger herself. However, the Harbinger's endeavours were not entirely in vain, as she was able to finally discover the whereabouts of her kind, delivering a message of impending emancipation, a challenge that both humanity and the Banished must be prepared to endure, but to what extent remains unknown. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, kindly tap that like button, and if you're not already subscribed and want to see more stuff like this, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss future uploads. Pop a comment down below telling me what you thought of today's video, or if you want me to cover something specific in the near future. I want to take this opportunity to thank and give shoutouts to my patrons and YouTube supporters: Spartan10148, my singular contender class Ancilla, the triumvirate of minds within my installation's Metarch, Falcon, Jordan and Poseidon, my 7 installation monitors, Sylphia, Ashley, Esoteric, Spartan1029, Chris, Orion and Shane, the crush of sub-monitors, Legion, Ryan, Lebrat, Spartan0137, Element 0, J3, Cult, Evermore's, Personal Devil, Scion Esports, Phantasma, Ashton and 191 Shaken Lightbulb, my fleet of Strato Sentinels, my most loyal of Enforcers, and every single one of the awesome people supporting the channel over on Patreon. My Tier 0 Transcendent YouTube members, Spartan137, again, Maury, Jimbo and Balaz, and all other YouTube members keeping my installation functional on that glorious vacuum energy. I cannot thank you all enough. Shout out to John because... And if you like what I'm doing here, consider supporting the channel on one of the support links in the description to net yourself some tasty merch and help keep the channel going. Take it easy everyone, and find peace in the domain.